Hey everybody, what's up? This is Samwise Raridon of Self Heal Herbs, and today I'm talking about what is in my Herbal First Aid Kit. So here it is. This is my Herbal First Aid Kit. It's in a lunchbox. I like the lunchbox because it is leak proof and it's lined with plastic on the inside and it's hard. And yeah, I'm excited to talk to y'all today about Herbal First Aid Kit because there's a lot going on in the world and it's always good to have some preparation for a lot of different things can come up. And this kit is one that I take with me usually when I'm traveling on big trips or just have around the house. Sometimes I take it street medicing, but I'll often swap stuff out if I'm doing street medicing. So right now it's kind of like things that are really common that I come across that I might have at home or when I'm traveling. So yeah, so a couple things is a thermometer. This one is digital, really good for ascertaining whether or not you have a fever, which is important, especially in these times. We got some Ace Manage Wrap for sprains or strains. That's really helpful to have if you're out and about and you have something that messes with your joints. Got some tape of various kinds. Got some earplugs in case your partner snores really loud or you're at a protest when there's other loud things happening. Gloves, useful, so many situations. Got some big bandages and some small bandages. These are the bigger ones. There's other ones where in the kit that I just like for your run-of-the-mill cuts on the finger or what have you. And yeah, different kinds of, this is a self-adhesive tape, which is good for holding on gauze. Other kinds of tape, many kinds of tape. Here's something that is really useful that I like to have, especially when I'm doing street medicing stuff, this is a little bit of sagebrush that grows really abundantly here in the hills in the East Bay. And this is something for changing the energy of the situation or place. I usually also carry a little lighter. There it is, the tiniest lighter. To be able to bring in some grounding and some reverence when it's needed. It's really also great to do that smoke clearing with plants of your lineage. So things that are in my lineage that would be great too are rosemary, mugwort. The stems of lavender, those are really smoky, so that could be good or not so good depending on what you need. What else we got? We got some scissors, always useful. And yeah, then we kind of get more into the herby things. I have a chamomile oxymol that's really great for just grounding and calming. It's sleep stuff. It's also really tasty. So an oxymol means apple cider vinegar, honey, and the plant. The plant is strained out usually at the end of sitting for about a month. And the chamomile in the apple cider vinegar and honey turns out really nice. That's a yum. And yeah, that's good for just fear of any kind, big fear even, and yeah, we turn to that a lot when we're having trouble sleeping because it's nice and gentle. Yeah, other things that are good to have on hand. We have a elecampane oxymol, which is for respiratory stuff, especially wet respiratory stuff that gets stuck. Elecampanes, we usually use the root, and this one's really nice in honey and apple cider vinegar as well. Whenever I take it, it makes me feel like it's breathing me, so that's nice to use when you got sort of a wet, phlegmy cough going on. You want to be careful if you got a dry cough, because that would be a little too drying, potentially. Other things we have, different forms of lavender. Lavender essential oil, great for calming, but also my go-to for burns, small burns, off the stove, or other things that aren't really intense 3rd degree or 2nd degree burns. that's really nice as like the initial response to a burn. And then lavender hydrosol can be really nice for things like sunburns. So that's like you're out in the sun, you burn real bad. Aloe can be nice, and then a nice like soothing after effect is the lavender hydrosol. What else we got? This is kind of a different realm, but again, this is kind of what comes with me in the street medicine kit, which would be probably a different video. But just for now, I carry it anyways, because you never know when you're going to encounter like pepper spray. I carry milk of magnesia diluted. This is diluted 50%, but you don't need it to have that much milk of magnesia. And the milk of magnesia that I use is from like the drugstore. It is unflavored. It's usually like a milky white substance. And I have teachers that say that you could even have it like as low as like 10%. But yeah, I kind of just have it 50% just because that's how I made it this time. But it's nice for if you're encountering like pepper spray or capsaicin in particular. I had a friend recently when we were staying at a friend's house who was cutting peppers and got peppers in their eyes. And I was like, I can help you. And that's just like one spray and then rinsing it with water, and that seemed to help them a lot. So that was good. Guess what? It's more tape. Which can be helpful if you're encountering like bleeding or like things that if you have a lot of gauze, and it's like helpful to hold on the layers of gauze onto something that you want to help stop bleeding. And also if you, want to wrap a joint, but you don't have like, especially small joints like fingers or toes, and you don't have like other bandages that would make sense for that, the tape's really nice. Other things. I have an Usnea, which is good for, if I'm feeling like something like bacterial is coming into my system, like I'm starting to feel like I'm getting sick, or like I ate something really weird and I'm like, no, it's maybe bad. Usnea wouldn't be my first choice for that, but it is really helpful for things of like that are of like a bacterial nature. And this one's in alcohol, it's in ethanol. I love Usnea. This is charcoal. This is just powdered charcoal. I think it's like coconut charcoal, but this is good for encountering, again, like poison. My cat ate rat poison or something recently, and we had a really expensive night in the ER where essentially I was just like begging for charcoal. And ever since then, I'm like, all right, we're gonna just have charcoal on hand. And the way that I would use that, well, first, it's really, in that situation, it's always good to get some diagnostics from someone who's good at diagnostics to be like, what is happening? So you can rule out other stuff that might be happening. But if you're certain, like, I ate some shit that I shouldn't have ate, or that's usually the case in humans, I would dilute this in a little bit of water and find a way to swallow it. Again, if you're uncertain as to like the cause of what's happening for you, it's really good to check in with someone who's really knowledgeable about diagnostics and what's happening for you and getting some testing. What else we got? Chaparral in ethanol is good for fungal things, like skin fungus things. That's really helpful for like just kind of like when you have like a mystery rash and you're like, this itches, I don't know where it came from, it's also really wet where I am, like that could be helpful for like fungal stuff. What else? Plantain, so useful, especially with animals if you have pets. Things that are like bites as well, like bug bites, spider bites, flea bites, mosquito bites. Also really helpful in the case of poison oak. It's helpful for drawing things that need to be like drawn out. I use this a lot with the cat when she had an abscess from getting in a fight that she lost with another cat. The action of plantain is both like healing and also like pulling out like what needs to be released. In that case, lots and lots of pus. When the liniment is nice, so this is also an alcohol. for the creatures, because she gets really enraged by salves, like oily salves on her fur is like really terrible for her. And also, you know, a lot of humans, especially if it's like wanting to express some fluid, so that I really love the liniment for that, the alcohol-based liniment. What else we got? Calendula salve, which is nice for just like your run-of-the-mill like cut or abrasion on your skin, or like scrape, any like something on the skin that needs like soothing, healing, and maybe like a little bit of like protection. So like I skinned my elbow the other day falling down this ladder. That's a really nice time for like a calendula salve, because that's just, we want it just to be protected and to heal. We don't need another action there other than that. What else we got? Yarrow salve, similar idea. Yarrow is really nice for like deeper wounds or deeper cuts, because it's going to help heal from the inside out. Yeah, and similar on the yarrow vein, I have powdered yarrow, which I keep on hand for emergencies in case there's like a really deep puncture wound. Yeah, any case of like really intense like deep bleeding. The dry powder is nice because it will like help absorb some of that moisture. They're going to be really mad at you in the ER because they're like, what is this? You put you put a bunch of particulate in this wound. You're going to make it harder for me to irrigate and clean this wound. And it is helpful for stopping bleeding when you need to stop bleeding. So I keep it on hand. Yeah, what else? Arnica oil, for like bruising, like strains, like things that are unopened. So like you wouldn't want to put arnica oil directly onto a cut that's still bleeding. But it's helpful for like, I just like got a bunch of impact and like I know this is gonna bruise and I know this is gonna hurt in the morning. I'm gonna put arnica oil on that to help reduce the swelling and the bruising. Fennel and apple cider vinegar and honey as an oxymel, again, is really, really great for like just your run-of-the-mill like stomach discomfort. That's my go-to for like whenever I feel like there's something happening, I'm kind of gassy, I'm kind of bloaty. That's the first thing that I'll try, is usually the fennel or the chamomile for that. My cat got some gauze. Look at her go with the gauze. Well, she stopped. Your good old hand sanitizer. Totally necessary for so many reasons these days. Oh yeah, Stargaze Release, Naked Presence. So this is like in the vein of grounding essences that I feel are really great to have on hand in the case of like kind of a emotional disruption, or like really needing to like be present in the moment, which is what this essence is designed to do. They say, or she says, it's got spring water, chocolate liqueur, cacao essential oil, and the essence of moonlight caressing skin, completely surrendering beingness and trusting the moment, which is also kind of spicy, so we like to have that one on hand. What else we got? Ooh, yeah, Uva Ursi for bladder infections, like the beginnings of a UTI. If you think you have a UTI, sometimes it's really helpful, again, to get testing to make sure that's what it is and not a kidney infection, because a kidney infection can be really serious. And so, yeah, good to have that on hand, especially also with cats. That can be helpful if you, like, notice your cat peeing a lot places. Again, helpful to get diagnostics, figure out what's really going on to make sure. And then if it is the case where it's a UTI, like a couple of drops of Uva Ursi in the water, or directly in the mouth for a period of like no more than 10 days can be really helpful for curtailing a UTI. Humans, a different dosage, probably. Yeah, check in with your practitioner about that. What else we got? Boundary Essence. Yeah, this one's got yarrow, ocotillo, black tourmaline, walnut, and pine. Just great. You never know when you're going to need a boundary essence. This one is in apple cider vinegar and honey as well. And just, yeah, those essences that I have on hand in case, like, we encounter energy that we just want to keep in its own energy over there. Yeah, and I also have some lemon balm. This one's in glycerin, which is really nice. That's like a sweet flavor, helpful to have on hand again for like tummy issues, but also really nice nerving. That's one that my partner really likes a lot. So it's like both calming and like slightly uplifting in the spirit at the same time. That can be nice. Ooh, yeah. I don't use essential oils very often other than the lavender for burns. But this is a nice one that I like to have on hand, especially in like pandemic times. This is called Good Samaritan, which is funny. This is from Pranaram. It's like a rebranding of the Four Thieves inspired formula, which is again like a formula that was used in plague times, like Black Plague times, to enable grave robbers to do their thing. So it's funny to me that they like rebranded their essential oil to be like, we're not thieves, we're good Samaritans, which ultimately, like, I kind of like that direction, because it allows me to, if I'm gonna be out in the world and I know that I'm gonna encounter some like viral load, it like that would be something that I would like put in a mask or bandana. I mean, not a bandana these days, but in a mask and like cover my face with it. And that will, like, the aromatics of it help discourage like the landing and proliferation of viral load in my upper respiratory tract, which is again like a strategy that folks used in the Black Plague, where, you know, those like long the masks of like the plague doctors that kind of look like bird beaks, so they had the like goggles and like the long beak. It's my sense that the beak contained those aromatic herbs that were like constantly being breathed in, because they were aware that like you would get sick if you breathed the same air as somebody who was sick. So that's one of the ways they protected themselves, was to constantly be breathing in these like very aromatic plants. And similarly, that the rhyme, like pocket full of posies, ashes, ashes, we all fall down. Pocket full of posies was around like carrying an aromatic plants, and I wonder too if posies was like a stand-in for like other plants. Like sometimes that's happens with plants where like one plant name, like wort or something, means like a lot of different, refers to a lot of different plants. I don't know that for sure, but that's my guess. Again, similar idea, walking through the streets somewhere where there's lots of other people, like constantly breathing in like other aromatic plants to protect oneself. So that's why I have this on hand, the Good Samaritan, and it's got cinnamon leaf, which is pretty antiviral, lemon, rosemary, eucalyptus, clove, and more cinnamon bark. Not something you'd want to really put on the skin or in a diffuser, because those are pretty strong, but yeah, on a little piece of fabric or cloth or a mask, or like one or two drops, that would be sufficient. And then what else? Pink yarrow, good for boundaries, especially relational boundaries, and also like a good like wound cleaning styptic. So if I had like a wound that was a little bit like had some particulate in it, like I would wash it. And also, like, I want to make sure if it's like healing from the inside out, I would go, and also for whatever reason, if I didn't want it to be like oily, I wanted it to have that cleaning action of the alcohol, I would use like a pink, like a yarrow liniment, and this one is pink because pink yarrow is great, and a friend gave it to me. Some protective equipment. This is like a little mask that I got from a CPR training that is very small and just like one layer of plastic that's meant to, like, if one needs to give CPR, like, it covers this portion of the face so you don't have to make direct contact with the liquids of the mouth. Although if one is breathing for someone else, like, you're still exchanging like the droplets and like the aerosols, so it's not protective in that way, but it is protective for just like not having to put your lips directly on somebody else's face. So in case that's needed or necessary, I have that. Pasque flower is really, really great for panic attacks. And that this is something called like a low dose plant. So that means you really don't want to use more than a few drops at a time. And otherwise it could be like an emetic, like making someone vomit. But in low dose is really, really helpful for just like really cutting the panic down of a like potential panic attack. And I've felt that in myself and seen that work, and I've seen that in other people work, and it's so profound. So and like a bottle like this, because it's like a 2-ounce bottle, will go a really long way. So I usually put that in other formulas, but it's also nice just to have it as a single, just be like 1 drop, and seeing how that changes the course of a panic attack. What else? Ooh, yeah. Neutralizing cordial. This is something we made at the California School of Herbal Studies under the direction of Karen Aguiar. It's a lovely formula that's based off like an old like 1850s formula for like settling the stomach, particularly after a like a heavy meal. And that's when I'll turn to it when I like eat a really heavy meal and I'm like, oh no, this is gonna hurt. Then that's when I go towards the neutralizing cordial, and in general it's just really helpful for like settling the stomach. It's kind of like a step up from just the fennel or just the chamomile, and without going all the way to the charcoal. And this one's got yellow dock, Oregon grape, cinnamon, peppermint, potassium carbonate, and it tastes really nice too. I like that one. And then yeah, I got some smelling salts, which is like some salts with some essential oils. That's really helpful in case someone passes out. And that would be something that you would like kind of wave under the nose especially if you know that they're not like someone with multiple chemical sensitivities and they're just like needing some help. And then I have an essence of willow, which is really helpful for, again, that like that energetic body, that like needing to connect to grief, to let something flow. If something needs to flow, like that would be something I would include in like a like kind of coming down off of a traumatic situation. I might like first go to like the grounding essence and a boundary essence, and then when things are safer I would go more towards like, hey, would you like some willow, and like kind of release and shake out and like move what just happened so it doesn't get stuck in your being. And then the last thing that I have in here is some golden seal root powder, which I have on hand more for the cat, but it's also helpful in the case of like a wound that's starting to get kind of infected, and also it's also kind of weepy, and that I would like sprinkle like a small amount into. It was helpful when like the cat's ears had mites and she was recovering from this pharmaceutical that was really intense for her and like caused some like skin disruption, and like there's a possibility of secondary infection. That's when like a very light dusting of the golden seal root powder might be helpful, or like making it into a tea and just having the wash. With cats you want to be really, really, really low dose. But yeah, I have it on hand just in case I need another like strong antimicrobial, and it's helpful to have it in powder form, because then it can, if I have alcohol too, I can mix it with alcohol and create a tincture. It's very versatile. So that's that. That's my the contents of my first aid kit. Lots of things for the digestion, lots of things for like the nervous system, lots of things for like your run-of-the-mill like cuts or scrapes or other like skin abrasions. And yeah, that's just me. And I this kit is always evolving. It's always like moving and changing, depending on what I learn and like what I encounter. So, and also like what I'm expecting that I might encounter. And there's also lots of different ways to do herbal first aid kits. So, I would love to hear from more people in the community around like what is in your herbal first aid kit. And that way we just have an abundance of knowledge and options for what we might encounter out here in this world. So yeah, show me your herbal first aid kit. I'd love to see it. Thanks for joining me around what's in my herbal first aid kit. Hope that was useful. And yeah, see you next time.